This is Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything Stadia related, and today I wanted to have a bit of a discussion. So it seems like this week will be the start of big game announcements happening. Why is that? Well, E3 was supposed to be this week, and it seems a lot of events are planned throughout the rest of the month. That means it'll be a very interesting time when it comes to Google Stadia. While we still don't have a solid date for the next Stadia Connect other than it happening sometime during this summer, we do know a lot of third-party games will be announced here. The real question I'm asking here is, how many of those third-party titles will also be announced coming to Google Stadia? I think it's important not just as a consumer, but for the platform as a whole to have that sort of support being shown here. And while I'm not expecting every major third-party title to be announced for Stadia, we should start seeing it become much more of a normal thing if Google really wants to cement their place here. It should be less a discussion about whether or not we're gonna see titles be announced for Stadia, but more of an assumption that we will. One title that did get announced last week, which did disappoint me to hear that it's not coming to the platform, is Project Cars 3. This is the newest title by Slightly Mad Studios, and interestingly enough, the publisher is Codemasters, who's pretty well known on the Stadia storefront. After all, they're the ones who've published Grid and are going to be bringing over Dirt 5 as well as F1 2020. Now thankfully, we did get confirmation that the latest Destiny 2 expansion, Beyond the Light, will be launching day and date on Stadia. I'll have a separate video explaining the expansion and what you can expect sometime soon, but I do also need to point out that Destiny 2 will be supported throughout 2022. Not only that, but they'll be trying to achieve full-on crossplay for all platforms next year. One thing I should bring up is that during IGN's Summer of Gaming, there is going to be some sort of Stadia involvement. This was confirmed way back when they officially announced the event that Stadia would have a presence there. That said, since then they've put out a timetable for their event. Interestingly enough, there's nothing there that actually indicates Stadia's presence, but there may be a chance it will be a bit of a surprise or a date hasn't been fully set yet. Right now, it's just listed under the More to Come section. The current timetable they've given leads up till June 24th, so I do wonder if they're gonna keep expanding it into the next month or if they'll find a way to slot it in. Personally, I kinda think it's going to be a Stadia Connect announcement, and they'll probably try and label it for next month. That said, I do need to admit something. As of recent, the Stadia social channels have been awfully quiet. And I can't help but feel that there is possibly some sort of announcement of a Stadia Connect that's going to happen somewhat soon. My only concern right now is that if that's the case, they're going to be in a bit of a tough spot because they'll be putting themselves right near the PS5 reveal and the Xbox Series X game lineup event. And I think it's safe to say that both of those companies are going to be bringing out the big guns to sell their next generation platforms. Realistically, that has me just a little bit concerned because I'm curious as to how Stadia will even try and compete. Hear me out for just a second. While we do know that first-party titles are coming to Google Stadia, they do seem like they're a bit far off. Many of these studios have just formed this year, and their one acquisition so far just shipped the game, so they're probably still early in development with whatever they're working on. We do know that Splash Damage is working on an exclusive for Stadia, but we really don't know how far along development that is. More importantly, even if they do decide to tease us with a cinematic trailer for a first-party title, or actually have some sort of gameplay to show, it's gonna be hard to steal the spotlight. After all, they're gonna be competing with titles like Horizon Zero Dawn 2, as well as Halo Infinite. Not to mention the many others I'm sure Sony and Microsoft will show off. So if they do want to try and take that spotlight away, they're gonna need to show something that could only be done on Stadia, and it has to be something the general gaming community would be super into. I personally don't think a cinematic trailer would be enough. So if Google really wanted to make a splash, what could they show off? Now, I want to be very clear. This is my dream scenario, and I highly doubt this will happen, but if it does, I will be shocked. Google announces and talks about Stadia Gen 2. They announced that it'll be released alongside the timing of the next generation platforms, and it is more powerful than both. They then showcase a strong showing of third-party support from games that are important to have. Even if they're games that we already know are coming, they should be included in this Stadia Connect. FIFA 19 is a prime example. They really need to nail it home that Stadia will have all the games you're looking forward to from your favorite third-party publishers, and Stadia will provide the best looking version compared to any other platform. This is the only way I can see them effectively stealing the spotlight, because then they can offer something that looks visually better at no cost at all other than the game. From the very start, Google's whole proposition with Stadia has been one about value. It's about letting you play the latest AAA title with high-end visuals with no upfront cost of hardware. In some cases, they've delivered, in others not so much. I still truly believe that this first year is all about Google establishing themselves, and I'll give them the rest of the year to fully do it. But we're halfway through that initial year, and right now is the time to start ramping up, or you will be left behind by your competitors. Now you've heard what I want to see out of this upcoming Stadia Connect, but I'm curious as to what you think they will do or what you expect. Do let me know in the comment section below, as I am really looking forward to your replies on this. At the end of the day, I'm hoping that by the end of these next 2 months, I won't be worried about what the lineup is looking like after the holidays this year. I don't want to experience another content drought early next year like we did after the initial Stadia launch. And while indie titles are wonderful and they've added some great additions this year, we need to see some major third-party support, and these games need to start releasing day and date to avoid situations like the Cyberpunk one that we're in currently. Now, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button, as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Today's end of video message is going to be a simple survey. Are you excited for the next gen console reveals happening from Sony and Microsoft, and if so, which one are you looking forward to most? Personally, I'm really looking forward to Sony's event just because of how little we know about what's going on there. Either way, let me know below whether or not you're excited for either or, and let me know why. As always, thank you for watching. This has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything Stadia related. The Gen S community is over 4,200 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.